What's up, guys? Jesse Mails here with Backwater Fly Fishing. Today we're covering episode 8 of a 12-part series where I cover all the flies in my inshore saltwater fly box. Nothing fancy in here. Today we're covering a fly, one of my favorite flies, and I know I say that about all of these, but they are all my favorite. This is my fly box. Today this fly is going to have a Weedguard, and this is the only way I do Weedguards now. That's going to be featured in this episode later on. As always, guys, this episode is brought to you by MarabouBrothers.com, which is your premium source for all of your fly tying needs. Go check out MarabouBrothers.com. Use the code BACKWATER25 at checkout and get 25% off your next order. Let's get started. As always, we're going to run a nice bead of thread right down the hook towards the bend of the hook. Back up and back down. Trim that off. First step is to use a little puff of Arctic Fox, and this is going to get trimmed and used as the hot spot. So we're going to measure it out, trim it off. That's going to be the hot spot for the fly. Next, we're going to use some easy shrimp eyes. These are my favorite ones in this green color. And we're going to put these right on top of that hot spot and then tie them down so they bend downwards and are facing over that hot spot, just like that. Now the first part of the tail is simply a little black piece of Arctic Fox tail here. That's going to stick right out the back of this fly. And I like to use tan or black depending on the color pattern. Today we're kind of doing a black and olive version of this fly. So that's going to lock in just like that. Now next, we're going to have just a barred hackle feather. And you're going to have these splayed out on both sides of this fly. So we'll put two going down one side. Tie them in. We don't want these very long, okay? Most of the flies I've been fishing lately are pretty short flies. Think about it like that. And we'll add two more feathers right on the other side. Lock those in and trim them off. Alright, looking pretty good so far. We're going to add some flash. And I like to use sort of like a peacock colored flash. You could use black. And we'll just take two strands, just like this, fold them around. And now we have 4 strands of Krystal flash pointing backwards, and this is sort of a peacock or black colored flash. Trim it to length. There we go. Alright, we're cruising along here. Fly's looking good, and we're at the coffee break, guys. So I like to take a coffee break in all these videos. And this is a good time for you guys to leave comments. If you look at the comment section on the last video, pretty much everyone was just saying, hey, we love these videos. And that's tight. But if you have questions, leave them in the comment section. And usually I'll take these coffee breaks and answer any questions people have. So thank you guys for keeping that comment section nice. Alright, so we're moving along with this fly. It looks amazing. We're going to go ahead and do the next step on this fly. And that's going to take a few Grizzly hackle feathers. And these are going to get palmered right around that tail to make sort of a collar on the fly. So we'll tie these in, and then we're going to go ahead and palmer them, making sure to pull all those fibers backwards as we twist around the hook shank. Usually this takes about 3 times with 2 feathers, something like that. That might be 4 right there, depending on how thick and bushy these feathers are. There you go, we'll lock that in. And you pull them back and then work the thread backwards on them a little bit so that they're all sort of facing backwards, and then we'll trim off that excess and just clean it up. There we go, looking good so far. And you can see this is sort of a neutral color. Aside from those eyes in that hot spot, this fly is not really flashy. It's not going to stand out color wise. It's just a nice neutral color pattern. Now the head on this is going to be olive, like a matted olive Cactus chenille, almost the color of this thread actually. We're going to tie that in right in front of those, and we're going to palmer this all the way up to the front. You'll notice this fly has no weight, And I've been liking that on my redfish flies, guys. Like, I just feel like redfish, at least in my area, getting beat up, and dropping anything heavy next to them is just not an option. So taking the weight off, making longer, you know, presentations, leading the fish has really helped me out. I fed this to some really good fish in my area and up in the Panhandle recently, and I've just had a lot of good success with it, so we're showing it to you guys today. So we just palmer that up, get a nice head on the fly, and we're just building up a little thread base, and we're gonna add our Weedguard. All right, so the Weedguard on this fly is gonna be just a 20-pound piece of titanium wire, and I've doubled this kind of back on itself. You can see that. Now all you're gonna do is take it, slide it on like this. I like to turn the fly over, and I'll kind of wrap it one way, and then I'll come on the other side of it and wrap it this way. And you can see how it's gonna wanna stand straight up, and we'll kind of bend this into place. Unlike mono, really, these are just gonna get put wherever we want. When we get these situated, what we wanna do, take a not so good pair of scissors. Now the key with these is you wanna trim them almost exactly to the tip of the hook. You don't want them hanging very far past, and you don't want them too short. Okay, it's supposed to go right to the point of that hook and just keep any weeds from getting onto that hook point. Now if you strip strike, these are gonna go down ideally, and you're gonna hook the fish. I do miss some fish with these. I'll admit sometimes if the fish is facing you, it has a tendency to come out. If you're feeding a fish that's cruising sideways, no problem. Typically it's gonna go right in the corner of their mouth. But them redfish, man, when they're facing you, sometimes that's a little too much. It doesn't grab the lip and the fly comes straight out their face. So that's a little frustrating, but that's how it goes. But you can see that's pretty stiff. Keeps all the weeds. You could throw this right into turtle grass. You could throw it through anything. And if it gets beat up, say a fish hits it and it gets beat down, all you do is put it back after each fish. Just like that. All right, so we got that tied in, and we're gonna go ahead and whip finish this. You could whip finish in front or behind. I just do one whip finish, trim it off, fix this a little bit. Like always, we're just gonna use some Loon UV thick and go ahead and cover up these thread wraps, just like that. And then we'll go ahead and zap it. There she is. All right, guys, thanks for watching episode 8 of this 12-part series, tying up this awesome redfish bug. Give it a try. Leave some comments in the comments section. If you tried it, if you enjoyed the video, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and be sure, check out marybroos.com. Use the code backwater25 at checkout, and I'll catch you guys later.